What's going on, Axie fam? Elijah here, back with another video, and today I've got an interesting replay that I want to look at and go over with you guys. So I've been in the top 100 the past several days, and I've mostly just been using my triple Rosa build that I've showed in previous videos. But lately I decided to switch it up and try some AoE out because I know how popular this is, how strong it is. I've gone on hot streaks and very cold streaks as well. The problem with this one is that you're using Grandma's Fan twice. So this is extremely powerful when you go second because it stacks, which I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be. I can't imagine this will last in the future. You put vulnerable on the opponent for 8 turns, it's like the whole game. But if you don't get to go second and you actually go first, it's way less strong. You're stuck out there playing vulnerable, you get way less value over a shorter period of time, and your AoE isn't all that hot without the vulnerable debuff applied to the enemy. So it's tricky, it's not unwinnable. You got guys at the top who have mastered their teams. They clearly know how to win both going turn 1, turn 2 as well. But a lot of those guys also have really insane gear on their Axies to accompany their skill, which makes them really dangerous. As for me, I am running a spin-off version of my teammate Ryan's build. By the way, make sure you subscribe to Ryan on YouTube. He's a top 10 Origin player, was ranked 1 earlier this season. And subscribe to the Meditate YouTube channel as well, where we're putting out tons of Origin content. I've got a few videos there, so does he. Make sure you do that. Back to the build. Grandma's Fan twice, Tri-Feather twice, because it's also AoE, attacks all enemies, applies doubt. Tough Strike is actually really good on this build. It does 10 bonus damage, including AoE cards, which probably also isn't going to be a lasting mechanic. I think that this whole thing needs some reworking. But since it's in there right now, you can do something like this and slaughter your opponent. It does struggle against Sustain. It does struggle if you go on a streak of games where you're only going first. It can be really difficult, especially if you don't have like the power charms. Like Bleed, for instance, on Chubby is amazing. I don't have it. So there's some areas that my team here is lacking. If you can get this with Rosa, that's really important too. It gives you some extra closing power. I just have it with Freezard because it was like the only thing I could get my hands on. But nonetheless, today, we're looking at maybe the most interesting game that I have played in Origin. Perhaps one of the most satisfying as well. I don't want to spoil anything, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. As you can see, I'm up against a Sustain comp, but it also has some nice damage in Tiny Dino, some secrets in the Reflect. It's not like a massive healing team, but it does have Cucumber Slice, Sakura, Watering Cans, which can be extremely difficult. Now the cans especially, the problem with these is if he plays one and I use an AoE card, it gives him 3 waters. It counts across all of his Axies. So that's something to be extremely mindful of. You don't want to give them that much leverage in the late game, but we also need to keep our eye on this because maybe there's something that we can do about it. So I go first. Definitely not what you want to see when you're playing this build, especially against the Sustain comp, but I play the Grandma's Fan on my bird. So now he's got vulnerable across all of his Axies. He starts with a Cactus. He's playing Sakura on the midline. He's trying to taunt juggle a little, which is less effective since I'm playing AoE. And now we're going to go with a Carrot. And the clear play here is to get the Tri-Feather Doubt AoE effect, which makes him heal less over the following rounds. Do big damage 44 across all 3 Axies. You can see how this starts to play out. 122 damage with the Ronin. So I'm thinking like, all right, not bad. Even though we went first, we're doing big damage. We've got his midliner almost dead, but here we go. Watering Can galore, clovers everywhere. This is where it starts to hurt because I know that if I attack into him here with AoE, he's getting 4 waters. So I play the Cactus. I'm not sure what to do. I guess I decide to go for it here and I'm gonna give him 4. I'm just gonna give him all 4. I play Chubby. Oh, and look at that. That was the other thing is I tested it. I played the Cactus to see if maybe there was a way that that wasn't a Watering Can, and it didn't trigger. So I thought I was home free to play the Chubby. He didn't get one from the Clover though, so I'm not sure how that works. I mean, 3 waters isn't that bad. I may have ended up attacking anyway because I don't want to waste the Chubby. Who knows? This is where we are. He now has 3 waters. He's letting his Tiny Dino gain damage every few rounds. There's a Sirius from him at the mid, another Watering Can, and I know that that's what this is, and tons of shield up front. So now I'm like in another tough spot next round because you want to be avoiding these, but his deck's gonna be resetting soon. Is this just gonna be Watering Cans all game this game? How am I gonna end up getting around this? So Freezard, I end up getting some nice damage boosts up front of my beast. I know this is a can, and I know he's got like almost 200 shield, so I just don't even bother attacking. It's only gonna hurt me in that situation. So I play what I can, I heal, I boost my damage. So now he has another watering can and Scaly Spoon, and now I'm starting to really not feel too good because I'm not making any progress in the match. He's healing up each turn at his mid. His Axies are all in great shape. Meanwhile, I'm taking some damage. My beast isn't looking too healthy. I'm not getting anywhere. Another Freezard, but I don't know what else I can do aside from that this round. Even if I play my 2 damage cards, it's basically going to do nothing to his front line. So I saved the carrot thinking surely he's going to draw thin on these cans and secrets one of these rounds. Hopefully he won't have one, and I'm praying it's the next round so I can get the carrot value and his shield won't be too high. Sure enough, he does have damage mostly here, not that many secrets. I think he gets an Indian star up front. That's it though, so I will get the carrot value, but now I am just behind. You can feel it, right? Like there's nothing really going well for me at this point. It was a hot start. It's a slow mid game. There's the carrot. We do get some damage in on his plant up front, ending with a Sleepless to shuffle a Dazed into his deck. Hopefully that can turn things around for me in some clutch late round moment. Clover up front again. So now we're back to giving him tons of watering cans. He plays the can on the Clover this round, and I want to slow things down because this is the turn that changed everything. Watering can is in effect. What does our draw look like? Holy moly, it's AoE central, but I've been passing all game. I finally have a hand that can do something because at least I can damage these other Axies. They're not shielded. They're just going to get waters out of this from the can, but they're actually all going to take damage. And I'm behind. I have to make something happen. Grandma's Fan, double Tri-Feather, and I'm just going to let you see what happens from this. 3, 4 waters. He's going to get 4 more waters, and then he's going to get 4 more, and he's taking damage across every single Axie. He's got 10 watering cans in his hand. He can't do anything except heal up, which isn't even that bad because I applied Doubt to this Axie. So he's getting some regeneration here, but this is basically like I played Triple Rosa on all of his Axies. The 2 that are remaining can do nothing. He's going to go back up to about half health, but he also is vulnerable on both of these. So my following turn is actually going to get something done, and in a game where it felt like nothing was going my way, suddenly we hit him with the coup de grace, put him down on his back, nothing that he could do to get around it, and now we're going to blast off on this backliner Reptile with a carrot, a Sirius. There's really no way for him to come back from this. He just does not have the resources after that crippling blow that we saw in the previous round. It's going to go up to, you know, some decent shield here, but I think he knows at this point I'm blasting through that. He's got vulnerable on him, and we have a huge victory against a team that's very difficult to deal with in those watering cans. Now, granted, I wasn't planning that. That just fell into my hand, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to play these cards. I have to make something happen, and then boom, he was done. But I think you could versus sustain comps that have like a lot of secrets such as watering can or timber. You could try to save up for that combination if you're playing an AoE team. There's a lot of rounds that you have to pass anyway. You saw plenty of times there were situations where I wasn't going to do any damage, so you could probably return the right combo slowly, like, oh, I'm going to hold on to this Grandma's Fan, hold on to this Tri-Feather, and then when the moment's right, hit him with that triple, and if all 3 of his Axies are alive, he's going to end up with 9 watering cans or timbers, which would basically give him no options. Maybe he'd have 1 card in the following round. I don't know exactly how that would look or if it's feasible, but nonetheless, this was a really fun match for me, and I've seen a lot of pros and cons in the AoE build. It's really strong, especially if you have it decked out with all the runes and charms that you need. If you don't, it certainly takes some finesse going on a stretch of round 1 games. If you have like an average version of it, like what I have here, is really difficult. I have also beaten some of the best players in the game with this build, top 10 players in very close matches. So I've seen how strong it can be and how weak it can be. So I hope that this was an entertaining video, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on AoE. Is it too strong right now? What should get nerfed, if anything? Are you playing it? Comment below, let me know what you guys want to see in future videos, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.